You know, it just warms my heart to see my chaos crew finally coming together.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome if you happen to be new here. This is going to be my spoiler review for episode 4 of the Mighty Nein. So if you have not watched the newest episode of the Mighty Nein, make sure that you go check it out and then come back and hear my thoughts about it. And of course, if you would please subscribe to the channel. We're just going to jump right into episode 4, which sees the end result of the carnival disaster that claimed the lives of Gustav and surprisingly only like 6 people, according to what the guards were telling the 9 as they were being interrogated. This interrogation scene is the scene that we saw during the trailer. Not a lot was added to it, except for we get the aftermath of that when they are all locked in a cell together. While there's still quips and arguments between both Bo and Not, which is going to be a trend for the remainder of their run, and Jester kind of just taking it all in as like a sidetracking adventure that she's kind of having fun with. Molly's the one that kind of breaks that with the cruel reality that everyone he knows and loves is gone. Pretty much. Most people who he cared about were killed in the carnival disaster. But also them trying to figure out what to do about the Devil Frog and Toya and how to kind of clear their names and also get back their very important valuables, most notably the pearl that has the information for Bo and the necklace that Caleb has, which we now know is something that is meant to protect him or mask his signature so that people can't scry on him to try to locate him, which becomes very apparent towards the end of the episode. But I like how this first part of the episode is them realizing that they need each other to try to get out of their current situation of being locked inside of a cell, but also to try to clear their names from the disaster and to take out the Devil Toad and hopefully save Toya. I like their abilities to figure out what they can all do and ways that they can help each other, especially Ford. He gets a chance to really shine in this moment by embracing the new abilities that he has been gifted by Ukatoa. Which we still don't, within the canon of the show, know who Ukatoa is. We just know that Ford was this gifted power and he doesn't know. He has visions, but he hasn't really had a chance to dissect them because of obvious reasons. They're able to use some of their tricks to get out of the cell, but not get their stuff back. They kind of just have to get on the run in order to locate the Devil Frog and Toya and try to clear their names, which we do get more of that when they return to the carnival. Molly gets the scimitars that Gustav had and also taps in more to his blood hunter ability and able to try to track down the frog. I really like how they are coming together. I like that they have a mutual reasoning that's more immediate than the overarching reason with the potential war between the Empire and the Dynasty and them trying to retrieve the Luxon, which I'm assuming with episode 5 we're going to get a lot of that information dropped on us. Speaking of the Luxon beacon, we do see Essek and Trent starting to experiment with the Luxon, and you can definitely tell that things are not going the way Essek had planned because Trent's machinations and Essek not realizing the wolf that he climbed in bed with.
Hey, phrasing!
Also with the fact that his friend discovers that his mom is not traveling and she actually has typhus, but is willing to keep that secret because Essek is his friend, but also Essek is serving as a double agent, and that's just gonna bite him in the butt. And I think this episode really shows the end results of his haste and his recklessness to partner with Trent, not realizing the man that Trent actually is. Unceremoniously uses people as test subjects, which definitely throws an issue with Essek's sense of morality from what it seems like. A lot of Essek's decisions are coming from a place of fear and pain of potentially losing his mother, but also his not believing in the religion of his people. Those types of things that weigh on one's soul will definitely direct a lot of your actions, sometimes not in the healthiest of manners, or they might lead you down a path that you will ultimately regret. which we are seeing the beginnings of. Returning to the Chaos Crew, they were able to locate Toya and the Devil Frog and want to try to save Toya, but Toya is kind of already gone, which is, from my understanding, a major departure from the live play, whereas Toya survives, but kind of similar to what happened to Cash in season 3 of The Legend of Vox Machina. Cash also survived, but in the series, he is killed off, and the same thing with Toya within this episode as the team comes together to take down the Devil Toad. We also get to see not really be affected by Toya's position, her death, because Toya is still just a 13-year-old girl. She's a little girl who has the ability to control a giant devil toad. But the roles are reversed here as the toad uses Toya's semi-lifeless corpse to basically lure the Nine in, while seemingly just trying to want to escape. But the Nine take them down, which is really cool because you get to see all their abilities and their strengths and their skills all come together in this moment, while Jester and Not attempt to save Toya, which is ultimately unsuccessful. Like I said in the previous review, I really love how they depict magic in the series, and also how everyone's magic is a little bit different. Caleb's abilities are different from Ford's abilities, naturally, because one is a warlock, one is a wizard, one has to learn their stuff, one was gifted their stuff. How it's shown, like the way the spells are crafted or the way the abilities are used is so unique for each character. It just makes it fun to watch, and how everyone has their own little flair and flavor to their style of combat. They come together through the purpose of trying to find Toya, but the pain of also failing to save her. They're able to defeat the Toad, so they're going to be able to clear their names, but they still didn't save Toya, and that's something they all have to kind of grip with in different ways. Not clearly being affected. I know why Not is very affected, and I'm going to try not to spoil that aspect of the live play. I'm going to try to keep it with the episode. That's one thing I kind of feel like I did poorly with my episode 1 through 3 review, is I kind of gave away a lot from the live play. Oh no! But I'm going to try to keep it mostly within the context of the series, at least for what I know. We all know that the series is taking different directions for different peoples. Case in point with Toya not surviving. Even Jester, who this entire time I've seen in One Big Adventure, is starting to wrestle with the gravity of the situation that she and Ford are now currently in, with someone actually dying on them, where she's never been in that situation. She was very much sheltered in the lavish chateau with her mother, and even her mom didn't want her going too far away from the chateau. Now she's out in the real world with her god, who shows up whenever he wants to show up, and has to kind of deal with that there are real world consequences for actions and things that happen. And I think that's one of the cool things that they do with the series compared to the actual game. And this is something I've heard them talk about in interviews. It's like, if you don't have people die, there's no stakes. Like, if that's the same reason why they don't make resurrection so easy, whereas like in like actual D&D, if someone goes down and you have the right components and spells and slots available and the ability to resurrect someone, you can usually bring people back. But it does take the stakes of life out of it, which is always kind of a joke with Dragon Ball Z, if you're ever familiar with that series, is that you have the Dragon Balls, so if people die, you can usually just resurrect them with the Dragon Balls. It makes death kind of meaningless. So when you have moments when characters, even characters well known, stay dead for a considerable amount of time, or permadeath, it makes the urgency and the realness of loss tangible for the characters who are affected by it. So them all having the shared moment of being able to defeat a large creature that can pose a threat, but also not being able to save a little girl, should inform the rest of them on how to proceed forward, because they have this shared common denominator now, and they can kind of stick together. And we see that as they make their way back to the town with the head of the Devil Toad to clear their name and officially coin themselves the Mighty Nein.
But there's only 6 of you.
Unfortunately, they were tracked. Him and Beauregard both saying, oh crap, they they found me looking at each other very confused as to what are you talking about, and it's the assassin from the Cerberus assembly. And that's where the episode ends. Starting to become a lot more focused with the characters now having a common denominator. So I think it's a really good way of how to bring the characters together in a unique way. And I really like the fact that Molly, a character who has just experienced a great loss with losing the people that he knew, and forming this new bond with new people, at least as fleeting or temporary as it may be, it also establishes Molly as kind of the linchpin that's bringing this team together. Which again, if you know what eventually awaits Molly, if they go that route, I can see this working so well if what happens to that character happens, because the emotional impact of Molly, after establishing Molly as one of the factors that brings all these people together and people gravitate around them to form a strong bond, if that bond is ripped away through circumstances, depending, it's going to make the emotional impact for the characters and the audience so good. So I really liked episode 4. I liked seeing everyone finally come together, finally learning how to kind of balance on each other, and still not perfectly. They still have some kinks to work out with each other.
Phrasing. Shut up!
I do like how they are slowly coming together. Next episode should be really good, especially with getting more information about what the Cerberus Assembly is up to, what Trent's up to, putting the pieces together of Bo and Caleb's future working relationship, or the rest of the crew's working relationship together. I hope we get more of Knott's past and get some revelations about where that character is going. I'm very curious to see if the trajectory for Molly continues down the path that will eventually lead to that character's departure. It's just very exciting because while they are taking different paths, they are kind of still sticking pretty close to what they've done. And I think that makes for exciting television to watch. So that is my review for episode 4 of the Mighty Nein. Let me know what you thought of the episode in the comments down below, if you would please. And thank you so much for checking out this and all my videos. I really do appreciate it. Again, if you happen to have been new here and this is your first time and you liked it, subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. I did reviews for all the episodes of Legend of Vox Machina seasons 1 through 3. They're on the channel. Feel free to check those out. I do live streams weekly and a whole bunch of other geeky stuff on this channel. Hope you enjoyed it. If you happen to and you want to keep in touch with what I do, you can follow me on most social media at DGeekWill. Like, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And as always, until next time, I will catch you later. See ya.